Tonight, here comes the rain again. New warnings about more water across the region with the next wild weather swing. Taking stock of a punishing spring.
It's just a lot to continue to pile on. It's just more of like insult to injury.
Trying to process flood damage in a community still recovering from a major fire. Plus, stacking up safety.
Literally millions of Canadians are using dating apps.
With dating apps.
Having a tool like this gives people who are more likely to experience harm in these spaces a tool to empower them.
The UW researchers helping singles sort through a sea of choices. Good evening. If it hasn't started where you are yet, it's coming. Southern Ontario is anticipating another big soaking tonight and into tomorrow with new warnings about how much rain we can expect and where it could all end up. CTV's Karis Mapp joining us live now from the Grand River near the Freeport Bridge in Kitchener tonight. And wow, we can really see that rising water level behind you there, Karis, as we hear these alerts about the weather.
Well, Tony, the rain hasn't started yet, but absolutely, I was shocked to get here and see how high that water actually is. More of the Grand River watershed is under a flood warning tonight. I'm not sure if you can see, but if you look behind me there, along this stretch of the Grand River, actually the water levels have risen to the point that they're partway up the trees along the water banks. But Environment Canada says it's not only people who live near the river who should be concerned. With up to 40 millimeters of rain possible, the Grand River Conservation Authority, in addition to the flood watches and warnings that were issued yesterday in New Hamburg, Ayr, and West Montrose, now they cover Cambridge and Six Nations as well. So with tonight's storm paired with the snow melt we've been seeing due to warmer temperatures, meteorologists say people should be prepared, not only along the river, but also on the roads and around storm drains, because we are at an especially delicate time of year when it comes to getting this much rainfall.
That's extra water that has to drain away. And in the Kitchener-Waterloo area, most of our snow has melted, but the ground is probably still saturated and maybe partly frozen. But given the mild temperatures, I think a lot of the frost is out. But in the northern part of our watershed, up towards like north of Elmira, up towards Mount Forest and so on, there is still snow on the ground, so that's going to be melting as well with the mild temperatures. So it's basically the snow melt, saturated ground in areas where the ground is frozen and the water can't soak in.
Rob Kuhn adds that to limit the cleanup in the coming days, anyone who lives near stormwater drains should consider heading out actually before the rain hits tonight. Get out there, clean out those drains of any debris or any leaves, because it looks like another big system is on the way and set to hit later this week. Tony.
Okay, Karis, thank you. Karis Mapp reporting live along the rising Grand River tonight. So that is the big picture on the preparations and the potential impact. Let's get into those numbers and the timing now. Ashley Bacon standing by live over at our weather wall with all of the latest, and I see the board behind you is covered with a warning.
There is not a spot that is going to escape this storm, Tony. It is going to be a big one, and we've known for a couple days that it was coming, so hopefully our viewers at home have been prepared. And as Karis just said, some great advice with clearing your storm drains tonight before the really heavy stuff hits. We have seen some spotted showers throughout Waterloo Region today, but nothing of real significance is expected to hit for another few hours. Let's get right into it quickly with our rain warning. 20 to 40 millimeters of rain, possible higher amounts with isolated thunderstorms that are expected to roll through overnight and tomorrow. Now, this system is expected to last throughout tonight and tomorrow. So it's going to be a long-lasting one. Now, in addition to the rain warning, there's a freezing rain warning for Bruce Peninsula, Sauble Beach, Tobermory, where you may see ice accretion between 5 and 10 millimeters on top of additional rain. So it's going to be a messy one out there, but right now in Waterloo Region, a very comfortable 15 degrees. If we take a really quick look at our radar, you can see a little bit of patchy rain is now in effect, but the heavy stuff, Tony, is on its way. Details on when it should land and how much we should see coming up.
Okay, Ashley, thank you. We'll talk to you again shortly. The flooding that's already been happening has some people in Ayr feeling like insult's been added to injury. Water breached the banks of the Nith River yesterday, right where businesses had still been recovering from a devastating fire that happened early last week. CTV's Jeff Pickle has been following these stories for us. Jeff, you spoke with people at a business impacted by both the fire and yesterday's flooding.
Well, Tony, the owner of the White Willow Spa says she thought for sure that her business was going up in flames as the property beside it burned. Now, the building remained intact but suffered some water damage, and a week later, more water damage was on the way as the Nith River flooded. They say they are grateful to still be standing but have taken enough hits for a little while. It was just after 9:15 the morning of Monday, March the 2nd. The former hardware store building in Ayr erupted in flames. While the fire raged, the owner of the White Willow Medi-Spa thought their building was next.
And then you're just thinking, is anybody in the building? Is everybody safe? Your mind's spiraling at that point.
Operating in Ayr for the last 6 years, Brooklyn Tukey credits the firefighters for saving her shop and the apartment above.
They worked around the clock. I think it was about 13 hours of actively fighting the fire before they left. So, I mean, this building is still standing, to credit to them.
But the water used to save her building also the source of her current issues.
We had took on a tremendous amount of water. Our basement was about a foot and a half of water. We could see that we were leaking from our ceilings. Our whole side wall was full of water, that it had popped off the paneling that we have.
Close since the fire while crews worked to clean up the mess.
So most of the water was in and through this area.
He says they were hit again this Monday by floodwaters.
The basement again was underwater. We are flooded up to the 3rd stair of our back deck. It's just complicating now the remediation because it's taking things longer now to dry out and they can't access the basement.
With floods common in this area, Tukey says they've rebounded quickly, but the back-to-back emergencies taking an emotional toll.
It's just a lot to continue to pile on, and although the flood itself wasn't a huge impact to us, it's just more of like insult to injury.
According to Tukey, the community support has been immense for her business and the businesses lost in the fire.
It's been really uplifting, and it on your worst days, sometimes it gets you through. And I know that people are eager to support their community now more than ever.
Cleanup of the fire debris is underway. The investigation into what caused the fire ended when they demolished the building. The floodwaters peaked in Ayr yesterday afternoon and have been receding since. And another sign, the community helping out those impacted by the fire. 2 GoFundMe campaigns have raised $60,000 and $20,000 for the people living in the apartments destroyed by the fire. Tony?
A community still coming together in the wake of that. Jeff, thank you. CTV's Jeff Pickle with the latest from Ayr. A Cambridge landlord says she was blindsided by a nearly $700 sidewalk snow clearing bill. She says the city never properly notified her about the issue at a rental property she owns. CTV's Spencer Turcott reports.
A small collection of snow has resulted in a big bill for Kayla Andrade.
$690 and I think 91 cents.
She owns a 6-unit rental property on Elgin Street North in Cambridge. There's no snow there now, but she didn't believe there was much to begin with after a light snow in December.
The city had came out to put a notice on this property's door. They came back again on the 14th, the very next day. Then they did another fee of $86 for the reinspection on the 16th, and then to start it to do the work.
When all the costs were added up, including reinspection fees, snow clearing, fines, and administrative charges, it came to nearly $700. A bill Andrade says she had no idea about until it arrived in the mail weeks later.
Oh, I need to be in my snowsuit. I needed to be in front of my property 24/7 to make sure that I catch every snowflake that falls on the sidewalk.
Andrade says the notice was left at the property where she doesn't live and believes landlords should be notified more directly, like a phone call.
Definitely did not give me enough time, and it still was not at the timing that they gave me before they came out and took matters into their own hands.
Andrade took photos of city-owned sidewalks that weren't clear to their own standard, including a portion in front of her property.
In the city of Cambridge, they have a bylaw where if there's no little grassy area between the curb and the sidewalk, they're supposed to be responsible.
Andrade turned some of her frustration into humor using artificial intelligence to create Ice Inspector Ken, poking fun at the city's own AI-based snow clearing campaign. campaign.
I think Ken does really represent what the city is all about now.
In an email to CTV News, the city's director of municipal bylaw compliance says the matter is under investigation and can't comment directly, but adds residents who wish to dispute a penalty notice should use the city's administrative penalty system, which provides a fair and transparent review process and includes the opportunity to request disclosure related to their file. This is the appropriate and only process to dispute a penalty. Andrade says a screening officer has dropped the fine to $175. She still plans to fight it, though, saying it's not about the money at this point. She just wants to see a better system in place for notifying property owners in situations like this. Spencer Turcotte, CTV News, Cambridge.
The cleanup and investigation continue in Wasaga Beach after a fire broke out at a two-story motel along the waterfront. Flames had already torn through the property by the time emergency crews arrived. CTV's Rob Cooper reports.
Brian Conrad of Wasaga Beach captured this video of the fire at Beach Area 1 as he was getting ready for bed just before midnight.
You see all the lights and stuff and flames going high. Oh no.
The fire spread through the Villanova Motel by Beach Area 1. The cause of the fire is still unknown, but damage has been estimated at about $2 million.
Upon our arrival, there was a large amount of flames already protruding from the roof line. We immediately set up a defensive attack.
It took crews about 3 hours to bring the fire under control. Today, investigators were back on scene trying to determine why the fire started. Initial reports suggest it may have started on the second floor of the motel. The fire marshal has been notified, and crews will spend the next few days sifting through the building.
It starts on the outside, it's the inside, delayering and picking through debris and trying to find some reason of why this happened.
Now, I spoke with the owner of the motel off camera today. Tony Todaro says the building has been in his family for the past 55 years, and at this point, he's not sure if he's going to rebuild or not. He says he was one of 4 people inside the burning building who was able to get out safely. One firefighter received minor injuries while battling the fire. Crews were able to prevent it from spreading to nearby businesses. Pedro's is right next door. Dean Prezio says his family once owned the building and got a call from a friend telling him about the fire.
Very, very scary. Heart stopped, jumped off the couch, and away I went back in my truck all the way to the beach.
Many people came down to the beachfront today to see the damage up close.
It's really unfortunate. I said, this is part of Wasaga Beach from history that is no longer here anymore, so it's kind of sad.
The fire department says there were working smoke alarms in the motel and want to use this as a reminder for all property owners to regularly check their alarms. Rob Cooper, CTV News, Wasaga Beach.
And now, unfolding developments in a story we've been watching today. Investigators are calling it a national security incident. 2 gunmen opening fire on the U.S. Consulate in downtown Toronto early this morning. Tonight, investigators from Toronto Police, the RCMP as well, trying to determine not just who fired the shots, but why. CTV's Raheem Ladani has the latest.
A heavy police presence outside the U.S. Consulate on University Avenue before sunrise. The front door of the building showing evidence of being shot at. Hanging inside, a portrait of U.S. President Donald Trump.
Whether it's a terrorist event or not, that'll be subject to the investigation that will be undertaken in the coming days and weeks.
The RCMP and federal agencies are working in tandem with Toronto Police, searching for this suspect vehicle, a white Honda CR-V. They say it stopped in front of the U.S. Consulate around 4:30 this morning.
2 individuals emerged from the vehicle, discharged at what appears to be a handgun at the front of the building, and then got back into their vehicle and drove southbound.
While people were inside the heavily fortified building, no injuries were reported, and it wasn't until an hour later an officer was flagged down in the area. The forensic identification team has been on scene for several hours. In fact, right now, team members are on a ladder photographing evidence which appears to be bullet holes which were shot at the front of the building.
When they did it at 5:30 in the morning, they knew they weren't going to jeopardize lives. But they're making an obvious statement here.
As investigators work to determine who is responsible for the shooting and their motive, Premier Doug Ford shared his personal opinion that the violence could be linked to terrorist sleeper cells.
I believe there's sleeper cells all over the world, as we know. They're in the U.S., they're in Canada here, and we have to weed these people out and hold them accountable.
The RCMP say they don't have information to provide on sleeper cells that may or may not exist in Canada. The violence comes during the ongoing conflict between the United States, Iran, and Israel. In Toronto last week, 3 synagogues were hit by gunfire, and Mayor Olivia Chow says anti-Semitic incidents spike when international tensions rise.
This cannot stand. Toronto's Jewish community has the right to practice their faith and culture.
Police stopped short of confirming a motive, but say there will be heightened security at the U.S. and Israeli embassies and consulate buildings in both Toronto and Ottawa.
Raheem Ladani with the latest from the U.S. Consulate in Toronto. At the trial of Frank Stronach today, the defense called a series of witnesses. Among them, a former employee of the billionaire businessman, a police officer, a former boyfriend of one of the complainants, and Stronach's personal assistant from the early 80s. That woman testified she checked on Stronach's harborfront condo almost weekly despite no one living there, and claims there was no mirror on the ceiling of the bedroom. One of the complainants had testified during her alleged sexual assault that she saw Stronach's back in a reflection of a mirror on the ceiling. Since the trial began, the Crown has cut down the number of charges it's proceeding with from 12 to 7, linked to 4 complainants. Stronach has pleaded not guilty to all. The community of Wiarton is in mourning tonight after learning that their most famous resident has died. The death of Wiarton Willie was reported this morning. As CTV's Scott Miller tells us, the search is on for his replacement.
Willie did not see his shadow. We will have an early spring.
Canada's most well-known weather-predicting groundhog has died.
Unfortunately, it is a sad day here in Wiarton, in the town of Southwest Peninsula, where our beloved groundhog passed away peacefully overnight.
As his caretakers arrived to feed him this morning, they found Willie unresponsive in his burrow. It was a surprise because a little over a month ago, he delighted crowds with his prediction of an early spring. That's actually what this Willie has predicted every Groundhog Day since taking over prediction duties in 2023.
Very much a national icon and by far the town's best-known resident.
Groundhogs usually only live 3 to 5 years in the wild, and albino groundhogs, less than that. Wiarton has had 3 different groundhogs perform Groundhog Day duties since 2017, but before that, they had the same Willie for 13 years in a row. Wiarton hopes that's the kind of groundhog they find next, although it will be hard to find, as albino groundhogs are born 1 in every 10,000 in North America.
Albino groundhogs are, as you say, not very common. I'm sure the town is working on that. I don't have any details about that, but I'm sure we look forward to what they will come up with, and I'm sure 2027 Groundhog Day will still be a fabulous and exciting event.
We've made it public. We will be looking to get another albino groundhog, and if there's anybody out there that has any leads, please contact us here at the town. We'd love to hear from you.
But for today, Wiarton and area is in mourning as they say goodbye to the town's most well-known rodent resident.
Willie has always been really well cared for and brings so much joy to residents and visitors alike. And while we're sad to say goodbye, we will be looking for a new weather prognosticator to continue this beloved tradition for years to come.
In Wiarton, Scott Miller, CTV News.
Sign up for the CTV Kitchener newsletter and stay in the know with a look at the day's top stories, the latest forecast, and some must-see videos, all sent to your inbox each and every morning. You can sign up on our website over at ctvnewskitchener.ca. A call to lower the age for a potentially life-saving medical procedure. Coming up, the push to cover colon cancer screening for more people under the age of 50.
I'm Colton Weens. It's week 2 of the region's waste collection system, and some streets still have bins that weren't collected. What the region is saying about the delay coming up.
Well, it's the calm before the storm. Get your umbrellas ready because we're in for a big one overnight and tomorrow. Those details with your full weather forecast coming up. Stay with us.
Download the CTV News app and stay on top of local stories as they unfold.
We go to a dramatic scene unfolding.
Customize your feed and watch live wherever you are. ctvkitchener.ca, your home for news. When you see it happen, send it to CTV News. Text 10400. From your screen to ours. Text 10400.
As we move through the second week of Waterloo Region's new curbside collection program, some residents say their carts and bins still have not been collected. CTV's Colton Weens joining us live with the latest on this. Colton, some people tell us they're still waiting, even after a weekend where officials had hoped to catch up on the backlog.
Yeah, that's right, Tony. Residents on at least one Kitchener street still have their green bins out from last week. The gist of it, regional crews tried their best last week. Crews worked through the weekend to collect anything that didn't get picked up on the regular schedule, but now they're in the swing of week 2.
Garbage got picked up, but the organic green bin didn't. I don't know why.
Many residents living on the Country Way in Kitchener never got their green bins collected last week.
I'm a little upset with it because the new system, right? I understand, yeah, it takes time and all that, but you think I've heard there's other neighboring communities around that have the same type of system. You think they would have gone and asked information, how'd your rollout go your first week, blah, 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 but
the region said last week it was hoping to get caught up with a special round of collections on Saturday. Then on the weekend, an online post saying anyone who didn't have their bin picked up last week should put them out by Monday morning.
So I figured I might as well take it back in because our pickup day is Friday, so I might as well put it back out this coming Friday.
Higgins says garbage was collected last week, but green bins weren't touched. He says he hasn't complained to the region yet, but patience is running out.
Give it this week and just see how it rolls out, see if they're both here and pick the both up, and the recycle's out this week, so we'll see. I understand the reasoning behind it, and like new trucks, new drivers, new everything basically, right? But yeah, I'll give them the week and then we'll go from that.
The region did not make anyone available for an interview today, but told CTV News in an email, we know that as residents get used to setting the carts out and operators get used to the new equipment and new routes, this process will be much smoother. The region says week 2 of the collection process started today, and they've returned to regularly scheduled bi-weekly garbage pickup. For anyone who didn't get their bins collected, the region says many cases of missed collection were reported early and have since been resolved. The region is checking with residents who filled out the form about missed pickup last week. If the waste is not picked up, the region will reach out with next steps. And as for anyone whose bins may have been damaged in the first week, the region says residents with damaged carts can reach out to the region through the online form or by contacting the Service First Contact Centre to arrange for them to be repaired or replaced. So again, anyone who hasn't had their bins collected should contact the region to work out a time, but ultimately it's now week 2. Bins should be collected on your scheduled day, and anyone with issues can contact the region for help. Tony.
Okay, Colton Weens with the latest on efforts to smooth out the collection system. Colton, thank you. Ontario's finance minister is set to table the provincial budget March 26th. Peter Bethlenfalvy announcing that date today during a speech to the Empire Club of Canada, highlighting that the budget will focus on mitigating economic risks by spending on innovation, competitiveness, and infrastructure. He says the budget will take a balanced fiscal approach that supports public services and infrastructure while maintaining flexibility.
Ontario does not operate in isolation. Geopolitical forces that may have once felt distant now reach our doorstep. Trade pressures, supply chain disruptions, and shifting markets are sending unpredictable shocks throughout economies everywhere. You know, the world has changed, and Ontario must be ready for what change may bring, even if that means being prepared for tougher times.
MPPs have been on break from the legislature since December, and they're set to return to Queen's Park March 23rd. There are calls today to lower the age for routine colorectal screening in Canada. Colorectal Cancer Canada wants provinces and territories to commit to lowering the screening age to 45 for average risk Canadians.
Over the last decade, more than 18,000 Canadians under the age of 50 have been diagnosed with the disease. These are people in the prime of their lives, raising families, building careers, and contributing to their communities. And far too often, their cancers are diagnosed too late because routine screening begins too late.
The organization says the change would reflect the rising rate of the disease among younger adults. The Canadian Cancer Society reported in November that colorectal cancer was expected to be the 4th most commonly diagnosed cancer in Canada in 2025 and the 3rd leading cause of death from cancer in both men and women. Live look outside now once again from the rushing Grand River in the Freeport area of Kitchener. We've been seeing high water levels all across the watershed, flood watches and warnings out in many parts of the Grand River watershed, and now a rainfall warning just to add to all of that. Ashley's back in with those details in a moment.
Rain
and later,
exclusive too. Okay, so this would be the safety.
Navigating the dangers of dating apps with new technology out of the University of Waterloo. And mixed messages about the endgame for the Iran war. The latest out of Washington in just a few minutes. Welcome back. You know, I was just thinking when I was watching Colton's story about the cart collection.
Yes.
This relates to the weather. That cart collection program began a week ago yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
In the first footage that we did, that we were using, there are massive
Yes.
snowbanks that are like 5 and 6 feet high.
Yes.
And that tells you how much things have changed in 1 week.
There's been a significant change over the last 10 days or so, and we've seen a little bit of everything, but mostly it's felt very spring-like. But we are still 10 days away from spring, believe it or not.
But hey, it's happened quickly. I mean, it feels more like the end of April out there right now, whereas it felt like January a week ago. So all of this incoming rain is going to add to that.
You got it. And then by the end of the week, right back to winter-like conditions. So, I mean, we're not quite out of the woods yet. If we take a look back outside, a really cool shot brought to you by Dave Pettit this hour. Check out the fog coming off of the river this hour. And that has to do, obviously, we've got quite a warm day out there still. We've got a cold front moving in and bringing with it a lot of rain. Very cool shot, Dave. Thanks for bringing this to us tonight. That river is roaring and will continue to do so for the next few days at least. Let's take a look at our Environment Canada alerts board. We've got a big one to talk about, a rainfall yellow warning. 20 to 40 millimeters of rain is expected from tonight through to tomorrow evening. Higher amounts are possible with localized thunderstorms, and of course, as we just saw with raging rivers already on the go, could cause some more flooding concerns. So do take care if you are out and about. Now, in addition, there's also a freezing rain warning issued for Bruce Peninsula, Sauble Beach, Tobermory with ice accretion, which could be between 5 and 10 millimeters. Same time frame that is expected to run through to tomorrow night. And of course, that could cause some very slippery conditions. So do take care if you're out. Let's have a look at our futurecast. We're seeing some spotty showers already in Waterloo Region. Now we're going to continue to see more consistent showers over the next few hours and into the overnight hours. As we get through to tomorrow, that's where we start to see some really heavy stuff tomorrow afternoon. Orange indicating possible thunder showers going to occur around that time frame. Good news is the wet stuff is likely going to move out by Thursday morning, but the bad news is the temperatures are dropping, so that will convert to flurry activity. We are expecting some flurries towards the end of the week. Right now on the west coast, we're looking at 6 degrees in Victoria. Over the Rockies, -2 in Edmonton, so very comfortable conditions there. -3 in Regina, -5 in Winnipeg. Over on our nation's capital, it's sitting at 7 degrees and a bit of sunshine. On the east coast, we're looking at 6 degrees in St. John's. Here in Kitchener-Waterloo, 14. It's very, very comfortable. Still overnight, we're not dipping too low, getting down to 3 degrees with that rain starting to get quite heavy and that heavy rain continuing throughout tomorrow. Daytime high is expected to get to 6. So we are still going to sit above seasonal for tomorrow's high, which is great news. Now today, believe it or not, we broke a record. We reached 19 degrees. Toronto Airport, Pearson Airport reached 20 degrees. Ours here in Waterloo Region, our record was set back in 2001 at 16.3 degrees. So we are setting records of heat this week, even though it's going to be a wet one. Looking at Waterloo Region's 7-day forecast, flurries converted by Thursday, a high of 1 degrees. Now we are expecting a little bit of snow on Friday. I'm not sure exactly how much just yet. We're keeping an eye on it. 3 degrees is the expected expected high before a break on Saturday. In Lambton, Kent, Essex, you'll also have rain with possible thunderstorms for your Wednesday. Sunny conditions for Thursday and a high of 6. Sleet returning for Friday and a high of 7. And lastly, in southern Georgian Bay, freezing rain conditions where you are. 0 degrees is expected for Wednesday, flurries by Thursday, and snow by Friday. Okay, let's take a look at today's Weather Watcher photo that was sent in over the weekend. We had a lot of fog, and Tim sent this photo from Bloomingdale. And rather than a "Where's Waldo," it's a "Where's Rusty the cute dog?" Tony, can you point him out?
Oh, I see him now. He's on the left-hand side of the screen, just about halfway up. Little Rusty's just a silhouette in the fog there.
Poor Rusty. Yeah, can't get too far away from Dad because it would be hard to track him down.
It sure would be. Yeah, that just speaks to the kind of fog we've had lately with this temperature swing we've been experiencing.
You got it.
All right, Ash, thank you very much.
Thank you.
In Washington today, conflicting messages about when the war in Iran will end. President Trump warned Iran not to interfere with international oil shipments, now saying he expects the fighting to end, quote, very soon. CTV's Joy Malvin with the latest from Washington.
The Pentagon with new video bombing Iran's missile launchers and destroying their ammunition stockpiles. A fresh round of attacks. The U.S. says it has hit more than 5,000 targets, including 50 vessels.
Today will be yet again our most intense day of strikes inside Iran. The most fighters, the most bombers. On the other hand, the last 24 hours have seen Iran fire the lowest number of missiles.
Secretary of War Pete Hegseth says Iran is badly losing and there will be no let-up. This as the Trump administration is sending mixed messages when the conflict will end. The president suggested the war's goals were pretty much complete, telling Republicans,
I think you'll see it's going to be a short-term excursion. How good is our military, right?
Trading threats on social media, Trump told Fox News he's not happy with Iran's new supreme leader, a hardline cleric and son of the assassinated Ayatollah Khamenei, saying, I don't believe he can live in peace. Iran's security chief shot back, warning the U.S. president, be careful not to get eliminated yourself. This after Trump threatened to rain fire and fury on Iran, warning the regime against stopping the world's flow of oil through the Strait of Hormuz, now at a standstill and sending gas prices soaring. But the White House insists that won't last long.
U.S. military is drawing up additional options following the president's directive to continue keeping the Strait of Hormuz open. I will not broadcast what those options look like, but just know the president is not afraid to use them.
So when will it all end? The White House and Secretary of War both say that's up to President Trump to determine when Iran is no longer a direct threat to America. Joy Malvin, CTV News, Washington.
Well, the war isn't only driving up prices for fuel for our cars, but also a form of fuel for our farms. Why fertilizer is in focus amid the fighting. That's next. New survey findings from Interact show nearly 8 in 10 Canadians believe AI is enabling fraudsters to create highly convincing scams faster than ever. It finds more scams are capitalizing on breaking news and current events, making it harder to differentiate between real messages and fraud. In the past 6 months, nearly 6 in 10 respondents say they've experienced a tariff-related scam, including messages about packages being held or delayed, customs or import fees, or customs impersonation calls. A quarter of Canadians have noticed an increase in scam attempts that reference rising cost of living pressures, including overdue bill notices, utility shutoff threats, and offers of government assistance. The war in Iran is continuing to create chaos around the world, and it's not just soaring oil prices having an impact. Fertilizer prices are also skyrocketing, and that could have a big impact on Canadian farmers. CTV's Alex Karpa has more on what it all means for the agriculture industry.
This is our nitrogen fertilizer.
Fertilizer is an essential part of Kevin Peters' farm in southwestern Manitoba.
This bin will hold about 100 tons of of nitrogen fertilizer.
Both his crops and livestock rely on it heavily. But since Israel and the U.S.'s attacks on Iran, the average price of nitrogen fertilizer has skyrocketed around 30% in the last week.
There's always some disruptions seeming to happen somewhere in the world that's changing our daily prices.
Roughly a third of the world's fertilizer shipments move through the Strait of Hormuz off southern Iran. With the vital shipping route effectively closed, economists say global prices are rising.
Fertilizer very important to our growers here, and especially at the time of year right when we're gearing up for planting season.
Anderson says the world's fertilizer supply was already under pressure before this war started.
This adds another layer of increased cost to their bottom line.
This price increase is yet another blow for farmers who have seen their input costs increase dramatically over the last few years. Jill Verwey with Manitoba's Keystone Agriculture Producers is desperate for the war to end soon.
If this drags out further, then it's going to have bigger impacts on availabilities, capacity for farmers to get that fertilizer on this spring.
Watching a deteriorating crisis for Peters has made staying optimistic difficult.
We're just cautious about overextending ourselves, and we want to be here producing food and producing livestock for the markets.
Experts warn the high cost of fertilizer and other goods are likely here to stay, even if the war in Iran were to end in a few weeks. Alex Carper, CTV News, near Steinbach, Manitoba.
We have a look at our top stories now with Leanne Evans joining us in studio as we track the latest with that incoming weather system, all those warnings about rain and a lot of it.
Yeah, Tony, with up to 40 millimeters of rain possible, the GRCA has expanded its flood watches and warnings. In addition to New Hamburg, Ayr, and West Montrose, they now cover Cambridge and Six Nations too. Experts say people should be prepared not only around the river, but when heading out on the roads and around storm drains due to the heavy rainfall expected and, of course, the snow melt we've been seeing. And the flooding along the Nith River is impacting businesses who've been recovering from a devastating fire last week. One business in Ayr that sustained water damage from the firefighting efforts is now left cleaning up from the flood damage. Staff say the events are taking an emotional toll as well. And a sign the community is coming together to help. 2 GoFundMe campaigns have raised thousands of dollars for those impacted by last week's fire.
Community coming together. And online, Leanne, from our digital team, a story about a Kitchener woman who's now $50,000 richer.
Yeah, we got to bring you a good story too. Virginia Nowak says she enjoys playing instant bingo, but this is her first big win. She plans to save for the future, treat herself to some recliner chairs, and spoil her cat. You can read the full story on our CTV News app or scan the QR code there to download the app, or go to ctvnewskitchener.ca. Also find out where she bought that winning ticket online too.
Gotta know. And I gotta say, if I won, even if it were that amount, I would be doing that exact happy dance that Virginia's doing right there.
I know, me too.
That's
it's
a good
chunk
story.
of change.
It sure is. Thanks, Leanne.
Thank you.
Swiping right on safety. To help users navigate the dangers of dating apps, researchers at the University of Waterloo have launched a free interactive tool. And as CTV's Alexandra Hollick shows us, the safety map is bringing red flags to the forefront.
We have the 30 apps displayed here.
From Tinder to Grindr, Bumble to Badoo, dating apps have taken the world of online romance by storm.
It's literally something that millions of Canadians are using.
But as users swipe to find their soulmate, sneaky link, or something in between, many are missing out on a main component: safety.
People were going online and using these different apps without necessarily a full understanding of the type of safety features that should be there or that they needed to be there.
So Diana Perry and her team of researchers at the University of Waterloo decided to map it out.
The safety map is a collection of 30 different apps that we were able to explore and walk through at the user level, and then understand the different safety features that are involved in each app.
Navigating the site is simple. Users can scan through the different apps to see their descriptions and safety features.
And then if we go up to the top here and we click on Compare Apps, that's where we can get into the comparison tool.
The tool compares several apps side by side, so users can find their perfect match.
So it really caters to people regardless of their experience and regardless of the features that they like or they don't like.
The team hopes to also help reduce harm online, from unwanted pictures to mean comments and even cases of harassment.
We're hoping that by raising awareness and by getting people using it maybe before they get started on the apps and while they're using the apps, that they can keep themselves more safe.
The tool is designed for people of all ages, ethnicities, and sexual orientations. Ensuring safety is only a swipe away.
It's not necessarily even about finding the safest app. It's about finding the app that's the best fit for you.
Alexandra Hollick, CTV News, Waterloo.
A spectacular natural show that some people don't want to miss. Coming up, the group of sea lions drawing crowds to a Vancouver Island beach. A natural spectacle is playing out on a Vancouver Island beach that you can't miss the sight or sound of. A colony of boisterous sea lions, more than 100 of them, are dining on fresh fish and putting on a show for the many people traveling to take it all in. CTV's Andrew Johnson reports.
They've taken over this small beach, and the people who have come to take a closer look are thrilled.
I think it's pretty phenomenal.
Listening to that, who wouldn't be curious? What is making all that noise?
Just hanging out, talking to each other, being chubby and adorable.
They are indeed plump. Some of them can't even keep their eyes open.
These ones up here haven't moved. They're just zonked right out, and these ones are making a bunch of ruckus.
Ruckus, says one expert, is the specialty of these California sea lions.
When they arrive, it's almost like a biker gang has shown up for a convention. And sometimes they go back to the same spots, and sometimes they discover a new hangout.
This gang is here for the herring they intend to gobble up in large quantities.
They're just like sticks of butter to them. It's just full of fat. And if you're a male California sea lion, you're not watching your waist. You're actually hoping to put on as many pounds as you can, as fast as you can, because the whole goal is to get back to California looking super sexy and nice and big and able to hold a territory against other males.
Where the females, who stay closer to home, are waiting. Experts say the barking at the beach that's left even dogs speechless will last as long as the herring run is at its peak.
Amazing. We won the lotto. We live here.
And so will the spectacle for nature-loving Vancouver Islanders. Andrew Johnson, CTV News, Deep Bay, BC.
There was a lot more in that story than I expected. All right, more news in just a moment. First, let's head over to Ashley.
Well, we might be waking up to thunder showers tomorrow. Those details coming up. Stay with us. Start your night off with Best Medicine at 7, followed by Will Trent at 8, High Potential at 9, and then cap your night off with R.J. Decker.
Tonight, shots fired at the U.S. Consulate in Toronto.
A national security incident, and we'll use the full weight of resources.
Investigated as a national security incident and a search for a suspect vehicle. Later on CTV National News and Watch on Crave.
Bounce 99.5 has the music you just can't quit. Home of Bounce Mornings with Angie Hill and Sarge. KW's Bounce 99.5. Listen on the free iHeartRadio app.
All right, we're going to check in with Krista Simpson now, who has our next local news tonight at 11:30. Krista.
Tony, the province has announced it is moving forward with a plan to consolidate Ontario's 36 conservation authorities into 9. They're anticipating the new system will be operational in 2027, so next year. We'll have more on this tonight at 11:30. Also, regional councillors discussed the future of the Charles Street Terminal site in downtown Kitchener. what they decided about how to move forward and the next steps in that project. Tony.
Okay, Krista, thank you very much. We'll see you tonight at 11:30. And Ashley's here with our wake-up weather, which maybe by tonight at 11:30, we're going to be getting a taste of what's to come overnight.
You got it, Tony. It's going to start pretty much in the next few hours. I mean, it already has started. We've seen spotted showers throughout the region all day, but as you can see, we're expecting quite a significant amount over the midnight hour and into tomorrow. So just to reiterate, 40 millimeters is expected through Wednesday evening. Higher amounts possible with thunderstorms. And as we take a look at our wake-up weather board, a thunderstorm could be rolling around 5 to 6 a.m. and then another one around 4 p.m. tomorrow if the trajectory stays on course. But we're going to wake up to rain. At least the temperatures aren't going to be too cold, Tony.
So no run for me outside tonight.
I would probably keep it an indoor walk.
It's sad because when the temperature is this nice,
I know.
If you're a runner, you get the real itch to be out there after that kind of winter we had.
Hey, you won't melt.
No.
So, you can. I mean,
That's
it won't
true.
be too bad.
Sometimes it feels very liberating to run in the rain. We'll see. Well, finally for us, a huge crowd came out to celebrate a four-legged legend who hit the waves one last time in California. Sugar, the talented surfing dog, got on her board to shred the waves one last time on the weekend as she continues her fight with cancer.
Oh, wow. The 16-year-old former rescue dog went from roaming the streets to becoming a 5-time world dog surf champion. Didn't know that existed. And is the first animal ever inducted in the Surfers Hall of Fame. A GoFundMe has been set up to help with Sugar's medical expenses. Oh, what a beautiful story.
It is. Bittersweet time for poor Sugar there. And I didn't know as well that there was this dog surfing championship.
No idea.
The more you know. That's our time. Thank you so much for watching. Krista Simpson is back with your next local news tonight at 11:30. We will see you here tomorrow at 6. Have a good night.